The Destiny studies are a number of studies across different tumor types, and the so-called Destiny 1 gastric study, which was coming out of Asia, a 220 patient study, monotherapy study, looking at this DS8201A compound, which is trastuzumab conjugated to deruxtecan, an irinotecan derivative. Um, has certainly shown promise in HER2 positive patients that have failed prior anti-HER2 therapy with trastuzumab. It has, of course, been showing benefit in other tumor types, breast cancer, and having recent approvals. And so now this has led to the next set of studies, Destiny 2, for gastric cancer, which is ongoing in Western populations to sort of look at the differences, if there are any, between Western and Eastern populations. And so this study is solely in second line after progression on first line trastuzumab. And it's an important study. There's no standard option for HER2 positive patients who have failed anti-HER2 therapy with trastuzumab in the second line setting, other than they were eligible for the Rainbow study with paclitaxel and ramucirumab, and a small subset of that study was HER2 positive second line patients. So that is the control that one has to consider in the benchmark to compare to. But we will see, because this is a single arm study now looking at open label of this new compound in second line setting for HER2 positive patients. The other important point is that we've learned that patients who are deemed HER2 positive at newly diagnosed disease are not necessarily HER2 positive through the remainder of their treatment course. And a subgroup of patients, it's an unclear percentage because many of the studies have been small analyses, but ranging from 15 to up to even 70% of patients will evolve to have tumors that are now no longer driven by HER2, they're now HER2 non-amplified. And so prior second line studies have failed. Largely, this was a main complicating factor, was that patients were no longer HER2 positive, but they were assumed to be based on their pre-first line therapy. So this Destiny 2 study requires reassessment by biopsy at the time of first progression to ensure they're still HER2 positive to be eligible, and that's being tested centrally. So that's a critical component of this, and we're looking forward to seeing these results.
The ANGEL trial was one of the most important trials recently published in the later stage gastric cancer. This trial enrolled approximately 400 patients and randomized them to receive either apatinib, which is a PGFR tyrosine kinase inhibitor, or best supportive care in the third line or beyond setting. And the primary endpoint of this study was overall survival. Unfortunately, the study did not meet its primary endpoint, which was published as an abstract at ESMO 2019, as overall survival was similar in both arms and was approximately 5.8 versus 5.1 months. However, progression-free survival was improved and was 2.8 versus 1.7 months in the experimental arm versus the control arm, respectively. There were also some improvements in subgroups, but overall, I think that we do not expect apatinib to be pursued in the Western countries, as the study did not meet its primary endpoint.
As you know, also, Integrate 1 showed the benefit in overall survival, randomized P2 trial, regorafenib monotherapy versus best supportive care, the late line study in gastric cancer field in Australia and Canada trial. And regorafenib is very multi-kinase inhibitor for focusing VEGF targeting. However, already we have the ramucirumab therapy, and as you know, apatinib from China trial, ANGEL trial, is held in gastric cancer field. late-line trials. But you know, regorafenib is active for colorectal cancer and hepatocellular cancer. And then we hope gastric cancer. But now is ongoing the randomized PC trials, regorafenib versus a placebo in late-line gastric cancer field. But I heard the amendment of this trial and newer integrated trial, regorafenib plus nivolumab, lego-nivo, combined regimen versus supportive care as a late-line trial for gastric cancer is now preparing, I heard. I strongly hope this data. As you know, phase 1b trials for using regorafenib plus nivolumab is a very, very good data in, of course, very selected patient in gastric cancer. Only 25 patients, but around 40% of response rate are shown in this phase 1b trial.
The third line trial, Alter 0503, which is a drug amlotinib, another tyrosine kinase inhibitor that is an anti-angiogenesis drug, randomizing in a phase 3 setting to placebo in the third line setting or higher. This is another that sort of we can include in the list of now these studies with tyrosine kinase inhibitors that are anti-angiogenesis agents, including regorafenib, which is in the Integrate 2 study, and the apatinib in the Angel study, and in the preceding study that was a Chinese-only study. And so we're seeing this trend in the late line of these oral tyrosine kinase inhibitors. I think that I think that first off, we should just say that the Angel study, the phase 3 study, that was a multinational study, unfortunately was negative. And so compared to placebo. So this was not confirming what was seen in a prior phase 3 study that was in Chinese only population. And now we're seeing these other studies like Integrate 2 and this Alter 0503 with other agents, but similar agents in the same class, looking at the same question. So I think that if there is benefit, they will be marginal benefits. They will come with toxicity, these drugs. And so we have to weigh that, and we'll have to look at what the magnitude of benefit is compared to nothing. Again, these are placebo-controlled studies in the best supportive care arm, and whether or not these truly are going to be moving the needle or providing an option for patients.